Hey ladies and gents, it's Wiz here with a look at the Cosmic Legion's Tusk Pilot action figure from Four Horsemen Toy Design. This is the packaging. It's the same sort of design as the packaging for the rest of the Outpost Axios Wave. In the back you have the cross cell with a look at the figures that are already out and available. And then some information about the studio. And then right here is the bio for the Tusk Pilot, which says, Tusk pilots are near the top of the hierarchy of soldiers employed by the Traders Union of the Five Circles of Cosmerium. This level of recognition tends to foster arrogance amidst the ranks of these pilots, yet their sense of self-importance is well-deserved given the skill and dedication required to climb to this lofty rank within the organization. For all the privileges and status that Tusk pilots are afforded, their position is also a perilous one. There's no margin for error for Tusk pilots, for even the smallest mistake can mean a one-way ticket from the cockpit of a starship to the fighting rings of a penal institution. So apparently this is a very, very tough position. There's no margin for error to take a highly trained Tusk pilot and put him in a penal colony for, I guess, screwing up. I guess, you know, even Maverick from Top Gun wouldn't have been able to make it. Goose or whatever. But that's what this guy is. He's a fighting ace. I've been fascinated by World War II flying aces, you know, guys like Eddie Rickenbacker, and this guy is up there, and it's got that cool factor, and I think that's why the Four Horsemen pulled out all the stops when they painted and designed him. The coolest thing about him is obviously, I've heard it referred to as a cherry apple, or no, candy apple red. Now, to my eyes, it's not quite candy apple red. I mean, it's got a hint of some other colors in there to me, a little bit of rust, or not rust colored, but a little bit of, it's hard to say exactly, but it's stunning in hand, I have to say. It's not the straight red that you get in, you know, a Corvette or whatever. It's the same sort of paint, metallic paint, and it's got that shine and it's got that luster, but this color is a little different from just that plain red. But I imagine that these guys are going to come in maybe all the colors of the rainbow, because I think they're going to be really tough to resist, especially because of the way the design and the way they're painted. I heard Eric Miller talking on his podcast, the Mythic Enablers podcast, about how you achieve this result with paint, and he said that he had laid down a very shiny chrome base and then put the other color over it, and that's why you get that sort of sheen, you know, that kind of deliciousness. But let's take a quick look. There's a number of different configurations for this figure. I've got the light on in hopes that it really shows off how much it shines. Here on the side is a tampo, I guess, of the insignia for whatever their fighting group happens to be. It's got this plug-in here that I put in the back. I really like that because it covers up the hole, and then you can sort of figure out ways to sort of plug in the tubes and configure them in different ways. I haven't decided which one, which way I'm going to like the best, but kind of pretty much anywhere you put a tube, it kind of, you know, raises the cool factor on the figure, I think. You know, if it's plugged into the back, you know, or if it's plugged into the holster port, if it's plugged into the arm port where this little blaster is, the wrist blaster, that's kind of cool because it kind of feels like it's sort of powering up from an external source or like some power pack in the back. And I think that looks really cool. But we get two of these flexible tubes. They're not wired, but they'll bend and they'll shift. And I imagine if a lot of people will end up plugging them into the chest piece that it comes with. So this is the head that he comes with on the package, but he also comes with 2 alternate heads, which I think will encourage a lot of people to buy more than one and to buy different colors, because it also comes with this really cool alien head, which I love. This head has already been released. I think it was in pink, if I'm not misrecalling or misremembering. But I love the way it looks in blue as well. I love the airbrush and the fact that there's these stripes here in the back, and it sort of blends in. Very cool, very alien looking. Dark blue, medium blue, and then light blue in the snout area. And then I love the glossiness, the black glossiness of the guy, of the eyes. And then, see, you can just pop this helmet off. Hopefully you can see through this sort of smoky, translucent part, right? That there's some machine parts underneath. So you could, that's another different configuration that you could put it in. You could put it in within the without the translucent dome, or with the or with the translucent dome removed, or this could be a robot pilot, or, you know, put the alien head on there. Cool. He's, you know, he's on leave, or he's going around the base, or he's, you know, in a briefing room or something. I suppose that this head and this head could conceivably could conceivably be the same person, because of the interesting configuration. You know, the chin and the eye stalks and stuff are there. But it could just be a wholly other, and it could be a bunch of different races. I kind of like Star Wars. I love how they have different kinds of aliens and stuff in their armed forces and in their air forces. Okay, so we talked about this piece, which is the chest piece, and I'm trying it on here for the first time. So it fits there nicely, and it fits in with the pauldrons, and it gives them like a nice sort of bulky look, right? I really like this armored look, and these guys to me are like, obviously, the stormtroopers. Very, very stylishly attired, right? And there are a number of places where you can plug in these tubes right there on the side, have them curve around, and then go in, like, for example, here in the, what would you call this? The side armor.
Here is your reminder. Breathing exercises.
Kind of like that. You can put one of those on each side, or, you know, plug it into the Alexa stop, or else plug it in here. Sorry to be so abrupt with Alexa, but she's bugging me. All right, there we go. That's another configuration. You could do it one side or both sides, or no sides, right? Just have fun with it. It also comes with this sort of translucent, we've seen this before, like holographic images of the rings of Cosmarium. So it could be a navigational aid, I guess, for these guys. And that looks really cool, popping out of the wrist gauntlet. So he could be getting a briefing or something, and I could be telling him where he needs to go next, right? That's kind of cool. I always love like holographic projections. Comes with this very subtly painted, but yet more detailed than usual, rifle. As you can see, there's a glint off of the knobs and rivets and stuff. So that's kind of cool to have that. And then there's the smaller one. We've had these weapons before, right? And I think the reason they went with such a subtle paint job on these is just because there's such an eye-catching paint job overall. But yeah, you can see like blue and I think what appears to be silver on those. And then it also comes with, I've already detached this, but the wrist blaster, which I love that plugs in right here. So he can have like a sidearm in case, you know, he goes down on a hostile planet or something. And then it's got two three-fingered, trigger-fingered hands, right? So he can shoot. And then they have, yeah, one for each side. So, and then they have a point of articulation here so that he can do that. Hold his sword aloft, hold his weapons aloft. So, to sort of sum up, you get two of these handy dandy rubber tubes to configure as you'd like. You get two trigger finger hands. You get two hands that he comes with normally. So not too many hands, but I think good enough. You get these translucent, two larger and two smaller translucent pegs, which can be used as holsters for the weapons. Like if you want him to holster his sidearm, you just stick a peg in there, and then this has a hole or a port, and then you plug it in there. And I like that because it's kind of like, you know, maybe a quick draw holster with it. Electromagnetic actually, for the sidearm holster, I'd probably use the smaller peg so that it's a little more flush. But I'll show you how that works. And then you can plug the other ones into whatever ports, and you can use it as a way to store the weapons as well. So, see, look at that. I think that looks pretty cool. And then, like I said, in the back, you could use the ports back there. Maybe a power source or something. But anyway, that is the Tusk Pilot. And I have to say that I have been blown away by all the figures in the wave. It's happened the way it happens many times, that when you actually see a figure, it's actually far more exciting than it even looks in the photos, even though Trevor Williams does excellent product photos. But of course, there's the tactile sensation and there's the colors and all of that. And one thing I have to say about this wave is that I think they've perfected the joints on these. They're smooth, they're tight, you know, the pop and swap ability, the plastic feels really high quality and nice, and they move well. And I like how they've incorporated some parts like the cloth pant legs that can be popped and swapped and used, like even with mythics, even with mythic legions. So there you go. I did use a little more light on this review to hopefully highlight how shiny and everything, how shiny and cool everything looks. But that is your Tusk Pilot. Is the Wiz signing out.